Today marked a major milestone for the Native American population and for the state as the First Americans Museum hosted its grand opening. Now, it's a labor of love, nearly 30 years in the making. News 9's Angelicia Bruton was there for the festivities.
Members of several tribal nations who visited the First American Museum say their native voice is finally being heard. They describe today as historic and a long time coming. After nearly 3 decades of planning, the First Americans Museum opened their doors to the public.
I love this. I've waited for this for 40, 50 years, for this to come.
Some visitors say this is the first time they've been able to go to a place that showcased their history. James Pepper Henry is the director and CEO of the museum. He says it's finally time for Native American history to come from First Americans.
For the last several hundred years, our history has been taught by somebody else, not by us. And so I think our young people are going to have a sense of pride that they're hearing these authentic stories from their parents and from their grandparents and from their relatives.
In and around the museum are design elements that are meaningful to the 39 tribes represented in our state.
Outside, we have what we call the remembrance walls, is because 100,000 Native Americans lost their lives in the relocations to Oklahoma.
Visitors will also be able to take home some of its culture.
Honor our 39 tribes. I did a collection of jewelry with butterflies. So there are several necklaces that have 39 hand-beaded butterflies.
Shelby Rowe is a Chickasaw bead artist. She says beadwork is her way of telling the stories of her heritage as she puts love and prayers in each of her pieces.
The pieces that you would see at Macy's or Dillard's are nice jewelry that were designed by an artist and made by craftsmen.
For artists like Rowe, the museum's grand opening represents more than just her art, but the history and culture of generations of Native Americans. Angelicia Bruton, Oklahoma's Own, News 9.